guys, and welcome back to another episode of A Warp in Time. And it's time to squash those spiders, sweep out the spirits, and throw those skeletons right back in the closet where they belong.
Yes, it is.
It's time to bust out the stockings and Christmas lights.
Well, not quite.
What do you mean, not quite?
I mean, while the spooky season is over and everyone is making the jump to Christmas, we aren't quite there yet.
What?
We're in that weird period of time where the scares and haunts are over and the real horrors begin.
Tax season?
Worse, Black Friday deals.
So, if the spooky season's over, and it's not Christmas yet, what are we gonna do?
Today we are going to be taking a look at a movie that fills the gap between the two seasons perfectly. This is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
The movie opens with a group of trees in the forest, all with pictures representing different holidays. We enter one door and we are greeted with a song from the residents explaining that this place is Halloween Town. No, not that Halloween Town.
We're then introduced to Jack, the Pumpkin King Skellington, voiced by Chris Sarandon. Something about Jack doesn't sit right with me. He's like if Momo and Slender Man had a love child and it came out a skeleton.
At the end of the song, we meet Dr. Finkelstein and his love slave Sally, voiced by William Hickey and Catherine O'Hara. Catherine you probably remember from one of her other famous holiday roles.
What?
And whether you create them in a lab or not, remember guys, no means no.
Coming with me.
No, I'm not!
Come back here, you foolish. Oh!
After putting on a show for the rest of the town as the baddest, scariest Pumpkin King anyone has ever seen, Jack retreats back to the graveyard to sing his true feelings. Jack is having torn feelings between being the best at what he does versus doing something to make himself happy. And little does Jack know, but he's not alone. Sally, the one-armed stalker, is following him in the shadows.
We cut to the next day, and the mayor has come to see Jack to start discussing plans for the next year's Halloween. But Jack isn't home. He's been out doing important Halloween business. We rejoin Jack stumbling through the forest when he comes across a tree with the holiday doors.
Hold up, do all the holidays have forests that lead to all the holidays?
If they do, what happens if you're in Halloween Town and go in the Halloween door?
Or do you think Jack escaped Halloween Town and found this forest?
So do you mean to tell me that the real people and the holiday people are in different worlds?
So Jack enters the Christmas store and is infatuated with how different everything is. Soon he breaks into a song of curiosity.
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air.
And that's not all he breaks into. Jack's looking into windows and sneaking into houses. I haven't seen this level of holiday home invasion since that creepy green guy robbed all those Who's.
After getting his fill of creeping on people, Jack finds a sign telling him that this is Christmas, just before seeing the jolly fat man himself. Back in Halloween, we're under full distress that Jack is MIA. While everyone is looking for Jack, we find out that Sally's been trying to poison Dr. Finkelstein, but for some reason he's built a weird immunity to it.
All that time it was Shortcut that was poisoned.
They were both poisoned. I spent the last few years building up an immunity to iocane powder.
Finally, Jack returns and calls a town meeting to discuss the changes he wants to make. Jack explains the basics of what he observed Christmas to be.
Let me show you.
But still, he can't explain the feeling of Christmas. So after the meeting, he goes to Dr. Finkelstein to borrow some equipment to try and science out the feeling.
Sally overhears and is obsessed with what Jack is up to, so she escapes Dr. Finkelstein's. In the most half-thought-through escape ever, Sally slowly lowers down a basket to bring to Jack before openly jumping to her death. But her eyes pop open and she sews her limbs back on like it was nothing.
Sally brings the basket to Jack, and he opens it to find what I assume is the Halloween equivalent of a good meal and a bottle of wine. But before he asks her up to his place, she hides behind a nearby tombstone, and then we get slapped in the face with hardcore foreshadowing. Sally picks a deadly-looking flower, and right before her very eyes it turns into a Christmas tree. And bursts into flames. This causes Sally to be completely unfazed.
What?
I know, right? A flower turns into a tree and then spontaneously combusts, and she's like, where'd my flower go?
That face definitely doesn't look concerned. Jack finally cracks and goes mad with power, proclaiming that if Santa can do Christmas, then anyone can. He starts assigning people from the town roles to prep for Christmas. Enter the worst threesome to get something done since the Stooges, Lock, Shock, and Barrel. These three are assigned by Jack to go kidnap Santa. I can only assume Jack used these three to avoid major jail time, sending an adult to kidnap Santa.
Youthful offender for the win! Oogie Boogie catches wind of the plan to capture Santa, and Sally goes to finally tell Jack about her bad trip outside his house. Jack is too caught up in all the Christmas prep. He dismisses her warning and instead asks her to get back to make his Santa outfit. Lock, Shock, and Barrel prove their uselessness and bring back the Easter Bunny to Jack.
Jack tells them to bring him back and do better. We then see the American version of holidays as Halloween is covered over by the obsession of how many days until Christmas. As the townspeople all make Halloween versions of the Christmas items, and the terrible trio returns with Santa Claus.
Jack suits up and after a few words steals the hat off of Santa's head. The kids then take Santa to Oogie Boogie, and Jack does final checks for his flight. Meanwhile, caught in his own lonely world, we see Dr. Finkelstein put half of his own brain into his latest creation. A little bit too passionate about it.
Stop Jack, or poison the whole town, given her history, by dumping something into the town well that creates a thick fog. Now Jack can't see and can't fly, but oh, wait, Jack's ghost dog, Zero, has a glowing red nose.
I mean, what a creative solution. Never have I ever seen anybody think of some... Oh. Right.
Jack takes off into the night while Sally sings her I Have a Bad Feeling About This song. Jack makes his first stop, destroying all of the roof decorations in the process. But the fails don't stop there. He also gets seen by the kid and ends up traumatizing the entire family with a severed head in a box.
What's in the box?
As Jack makes more stops and delivers more toys, people begin freaking out and calling the police. In the best response time I've ever seen, their taxes must be ridiculous. An announcement comes over the radio that the military action is going to be taken against this fake Santa.
The military begins trying to shoot Jack out of the sky. Hearing of this, Sally decides she needs to save Santa to return things to the way they should be. Using her creepy detachable limbs, Sally uses a light to distract Oogie Boogie. She frees Santa, but Oogie figures out the ruse and captures them both.
Meanwhile, Jack gets shot down by the military, and everyone in Halloween Town goes into immediate depression, believing Jack is dead. Picking himself up off the wreckage, it dawns on Jack that he doesn't want to screw up Christmas, but wants to be the best damn Pumpkin King he can be. So he heads back to Halloween to go find and free Santa.
Back at Oogie Boogie's, he has Sally and Santa tied up on a tilting table, about to slide off into a big pot of lava soup. Oogie cranks the lever and says goodbye to the two, but is surprised when he doesn't hear a splash and blood-curdling screams.
What the?
It's Jack, saved the day at the very last second. Oogie is enraged and takes this opportunity to kill Jack.
Jack runs and jumps his way through Oogie Boogie's carnival rides from hell and catches one of Oogie's threads. Jack shoves the thread in his mechanical torture ride and it rips Oogie Boogie's sack, revealing he's nothing more than a collection of gross bugs that fall into the lava.
That makes Oogie Boogie 1,000 times more creepier than Jack. He should be the Pumpkin King.
He is creepier, and he might be more powerful than Jack. But as any guy can tell you, rip your sack, and you're done.
Jack frees Santa and sends him on his way to fix Christmas. Before the mayor and the rest of the townspeople find Jack and Sally and help them escape Boogie's lair. The movie wraps up with Santa bringing snow to Halloween, sparking the same curiosity in the townspeople that Jack had felt. Jack and Santa exchange a happy Halloween and Merry Christmas. With everything returning to the way it should be, we see Dr. Finkelstein finally found someone to love him. Himself.
The last shot is of Jack and Sally sharing a song and finally embracing on top of Spiral Mountain. Brought to you by the brilliant and twisted mind of Tim Burton, The Nightmare Before Christmas was released in October of 1993. With a budget of $18 million and credits including the famous stop-motion animation director Henry Selick and music from the amazing Danny Elfman, The Nightmare Before Christmas made $50 million at the box office and was considered a moderate sleeper hit.
After its release to video in 1994, a cult following grew for the movie. From 2006 to 2009, Disney re-released The Nightmare Before Christmas and brought in another $26 million, bringing box office totals to over $76 million.
I really liked The Nightmare Before Christmas. What'd you think?
I loved it. It was a great movie.
Yeah? I really like the look of it. It's got like a real creepy Tim Burton thing going on.
Yeah, it's like puppets come to life.
Yeah, right? It's like right in between the drawn animation and the new live action stuff that Disney's been giving us.
So, who's your favorite character?
Ooh, I gotta say my favorite character is probably Oogie Boogie. I think he's way creepier and way better of a bad guy than Jack the Pumpkin King.
Yeah.
But nobody else seems to like him because they keep him locked up on the edge of town.
Yeah.
What about you? Who's your favorite character?
I would have to say like Oogie Boogie or Barrel from Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Why Barrel?
He seems like the dumb one, the one just trying to fit in. Like Lock and Shock are like the smart ones, and they're like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna like kidnap Santa, and I feel like he's just like carrying her along with it.
What'd you think about the music?
Oh, it was good. It was like really catchy. Like some of the songs were like super catchy.
Yeah.
Oogie Boogie song when Santa gets dropped down into his like little lair.
Or about the gambling his life away.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, all the music was done by Danny Elfman, and this dude's done a ton of stuff, and you recognize like a lot of his stuff, whether you know it or not. Like he did the Men in Black series, he did the Avengers Age of Ultron, he even did adult movies like the 50 Shades of Grey. Ooh. So yeah, all his stuff is fantastic. But here's the real question though. Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Halloween movie? Or is it a Christmas movie?
Ooh, that's hard. I'm gonna say it's a Christmas movie because it goes from a Halloween to Christmas movie because Jack's whole thing is trying to get Christmas his way.
Right.
And it's not like continuing with Halloween. Like you have that like awesome opening thing where they had Jack as in his like, and he had like a pumpkin and he was like, he didn't even look like he was alive, and they had this little ritual thing, and then he finally came to life and everything. But like I feel like it was more of a Christmas movie because of their end goal.
Yeah. Really interesting because I feel like this movie isn't a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. I feel like this movie just uses Halloween and Christmas to describe the feeling of wanting a thing that you don't have, whether you know you really want it or not.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is that Jack wants to do Christmas because it's new and it's different and it's exciting, but when he tries, it gets messed up. So it's really about learning to appreciate doing what you're good at versus trying something new just because it's new. Overall, I'd have to say that I'd give this movie a thumbs up. How about you?
Yep, thumbs up for sure.
That's 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Recommended. 10 out of 10. Would watch again.
Whoa.